to start that next. Great. And we'll just get started. And if other people jump in, great. Um, I'm Laura McDermott. I am the director of Tempo Art in Portland, Maine. And I'm so happy that you all have jumped on this call this evening to get some more information about our 2026 Call for Artists. I'm going to take the first little bit of time to just go through sort of the highlights of the call, give you a little bit more information about what we're kind of expecting to see through the application process. And then there'll be plenty of time for questions. If you have questions, very, very happy to answer those as well. So I'll just jump right in. If you're unfamiliar with Tempo Art, we're a temporary public art organization in Portland, Maine. And our mission is to commission temporary public art that sparks dialogue, builds community, and inspires collective imagination. 2026 is actually our 10-year anniversary. So we'll be celebrating all year for being in Portland for 10 years. If you're familiar with our work in Portland, it has primarily been object-based and large-scale sculpture. This year, if you've read the call, you know that that's actually not what we're after. We're opening up, casting a wider net to artists, visual artists, performing artists, community-based artists, any kind of art form that the artist would want to create work, create a performance, create a moment for Portland in 2026. So we are shaking it up. Like I said, it does not have to be a large scale sculpture. It can be any variety of art form because public art can be anything that we experience in public space. And so we really want to push what we've been doing here as Tempo this year as we're sort of coming to this milestone of a decade. So here are just the brief details. So the budget will be $10,000 per artist and artist team. We will be selecting at least 3 artists or artist teams. And the deadline to apply is Monday, August 18th. And we're really looking for the artists who are selected to create these sort of playful, joyful moments in our shared spaces. We know it's a challenging time at this moment in time for a lot of people. And this is a moment for us to build community, be together in our shared spaces, and have some really great moments built by artists in our community. So that's the high level, that's the big things there. What you need to apply. So I'm going to, because I've had some questions from artists already about and some people saying like, okay, well, I'm going to send you like an idea. We actually don't want ideas at this stage. We want you to just apply based on your previous work. So we believe firmly that artists should be paid for every part of the process, and that includes the ideation stage. So the process of creating a proposal is a lot of labor. And so this step of the process, this application process, you're applying with your previous work. So the work that you've already done, and if you're, a performing artist, maybe you're sending us a video of a performance or a picture of a performance where you're describing what has happened. So you do not have to have your idea ready. And I know that like sometimes this is sort of the kind of hard and also fun part of applying for a project, because I'm sure if you're applying for the project, you probably already are thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, all the things that I could do in this space, right? But we really want to be for a fair and level playing field as well, is that we're not requiring anybody, and we don't want you to develop a proposal at this point. If you get to the interview stage, there'll be just a little bit more probing into like how you think your artistic practice might show up in this space. But once the artists are selected is when we will then pay them to develop and take that time to actually think through what they'll be creating. So I think that's the really big That's a really big point for everybody. And so hopefully it makes the application process a little bit easier for you, um, to not have to spend a lot of time thinking about, okay, what exactly do I want to do? Because we want you to have more time with that. We want you to be paid for that time. So that's where we are with that. So what you do need to apply is a letter of interest. So this is a brief 1 page, limit to 2,000 characters. That's about a page of telling us about who you are as an artist and why you're interested in the opportunity. Um, so if, for example, if you've never created something in public space before, maybe it's that your interest is, I would love to, I'm ready in my practice, I'm ready to create. I want the community to be a bigger part of the work that I do, etc. So this is an opportunity for you to tell the panel of selection people who are community members here in Portland, who you are as an artist. Let them get to know you a little bit as an artist in that letter of interest. And then a resume, and then 2 references of who can speak to your work as an artist and your ability to complete a project. Whoops, let me see. I skipped ahead too much. So for media, we are required, you can submit up to 10 images of your work. You can also submit video. So if a video would better explain the work that you do, please do include that. And if you have that readily available, that would be very helpful. And then make sure to very clearly label your images and your media that relates directly to this media script. So the media script, I think, is one of the more important things that you're going to be sending us because it's a short description of each artwork. So this is how we know what we're looking at, right? So the selection panel is going to be taking a look at your work, and this is how you're telling them what it is. So make sure that all of the media you're submitting, your images and your videos, match the script. So if you're submitting a work that's the image title is like heart.jpg, then make sure that that aligns with your script. Heart.jpg is, this is a heart and on a pedestal, whatever. So that is, just make that clear, because I'm here as, I'm administering this project. And so I will be presenting your work to the panel. And so this is also really helpful for me to make sure that I know exactly, and I'm telling everybody exactly what you want me to tell them as well. So that's really, really, really helpful. So if, when you're submitting your application, a really great application, number one, just follow the directions. It represents your previous work. So we talked about that, and then does not include a proposal for what you would do for this specific project. If you need more help with your application, if you're going through the process, I'm available for one-on-one assistance as well. I'm going to put that link in the chat. You can schedule a 30-minute with me to even take a look at your application. I am not deciding on who the artists are, so I can help you develop your application, and take a look and make sure that what you're submitting works for what we're asking for here. So that is that. I'm going to put that I'm going to stop the share really quick. I'm going to put that link in the app. I'm first going to put, this is the link to the call to artists. You probably all have seen that. If you're here, you've seen it. And then I'm going to put in the scheduling link if you feel like you'd like to schedule some time with me at any point. It can be online, it can be in person. Scheduling. Okay. And now I'll just open it up to questions. What questions do you all have about the process, if any?
My question, I just, because I just found out about this today, and then I happened to see that you were having this,
Yeah.
so I'm glad that I could be here. But is there an actual online application form, or is it that somehow I didn't see a link to that, or is there somewhere else I have to register if I'm planning to submit an app? Yeah.
Sure. So I just shared the link in the chat to the call to artists. And
Yeah.
in the call, you'll just be emailing me, like you'll email your application to me.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
so there's not like an online application site
No, we're
that
not using like call for entry or anything.
okay, it's
Um,
just sent to you through
yeah.
emails.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
hmm
Are you looking for reference letters or are you looking for just contact information for those references?
Just contact information for your references. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Good question.
I had a question about video length. I wasn't sure if I saw a length on what those should be if we did include video.
I would say that's a really great question. And we didn't specify in there, but I'm going to go ahead and make a note about that. I would say if you send a video, you can send it any length, but expect that only the first 3 minutes will be watched.
Okay, or maybe include a timestamp or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Or you can tell us if you're
Yeah.
including a video that's really long, say, please watch between 15 minutes and 17 minutes.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So you don't have to like edit it down or anything. Just give us the instructions for what you want us to see.
Okay, perfect.
Do you have any recommendations for like if a group of artists wants to apply? Like since I work with about like 30 individuals who will be like part of this when we apply for it. Um yeah, I was just wondering like if there's any suggestions you have for how we can apply.
Yeah, that's a really great question because that's a lot of people. Usually I tell people, well, make sure you have a sample from every artist, right? Um, but in your case with 30, I would say if there's projects that you've collaborated on in the past that you can present as some of those work samples, that would be incredibly helpful. I would also then just include in either your letter, maybe just the names of everyone, or just say, we're a group, we're a collaborative group of 30 artists. Here's how we work together, right? And I'm sure like in projects that you've worked on in the past, maybe not everybody has been part of every project, right? So it's like how, for your case, it's really important how you all are working together and how your vision sort of comes together as that group. That's probably the more important part of the work. So I would say, and for anybody who's working with a collaborator or collaborators, really taking a little bit of that letter to just explain how you work together and how you show up together for projects, because obviously each project is unique and you're probably collaborating in different ways for everything, but like the process of how you collaborate or how you determine, a vision together is, I think, important. And honestly, probably less important than seeing, here's a work from everybody, which you won't be able to do with 10 images. Any other questions? I think it's, oh yeah, Catherine, go ahead, please. No.
I have a plane going over now.
Oh,
I didn't know
okay.
how loud it was going to get. No, I was just going to say again that I was glad that I happened to be able to be here and found out about this in a timely manner so that, have a chance to apply.
Yeah, awesome. I think, truly, I had it in the presentation too, but again, like just really following directions is so important. I always say to artists, like, if you follow the application directions, you're already probably ahead of 50% of everybody else, because sometimes it's really, you get applications and it's really challenging to even be like, well, what am I looking at? Because it's not in the format that's requested. And so that's really hard. So just thinking of it from like, okay, here are people that maybe have never, like, have not been introduced to your work before. And what's the best way to introduce them to your work is being clear with what we're seeing is really, really important.
I did think of a question. Thank you.
Yes.
I don't know
Yeah.
if that made me think of if I thought of a question. Yeah. Because I know with some of these, uh, what you actually call this, an award, a grant. It's not an award. It's not a grant, is it? What is the actual title of it?
I would say it's like a commission. You'll be
Commission,
commissioned.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you make public the number of applicants that you receive every year?
I don't think it's been in the practice to do that. I don't think,
Okay. Sometimes organizations do, and sometimes they don't. So I was just curious.
yeah, yeah.
What
No,
the field was like.
that's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of transparency at every
Yeah.
the
No, not
process.
yeah, I'm not.
And I
Thinking
think like
it could happen. I'm just curious if it does. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think it's not a secret, I don't think. So I think we can certainly say, um, you know, these artists were selected from over, how
Mhm.
many applicants. So yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes people like to publicize, their numbers, just to see how much activity there is, or
Right.
yeah.
I mean, I think it's also good for artists to understand too, when you are applying for projects like this,
Mhm.
how many people are you, I mean, because I think I've worked in public art for a really long time, and I always tell, I'm, my biggest thing is for artists, I'm like, keep trying, keep applying, because you never know. You also never know who's at the table, right? Of like and sometimes, because there's often it's like, oh, well, why didn't I get selected? Well, it was maybe just not the right exact moment, but like not for lack of quality or people loving your work, right? And I think it's sometimes just really good to know. It's like, oh yeah, I was competing against like 100 different people, and right. And I think it's can help, I think, the process, because it is a lot. It's a lot to apply and then be and not get it sometimes, right? But it's like you just have to keep going because someday it'll click. Any other questions? Any other guidance I can provide at this point?
In terms of how the money will be used, will it be necessary or like important for us to create sort of like I guess like how you would in grant writing, like a list of all of the materials, and how the money will be used for the project at some point?
Yeah, so I think once artists are selected, I mean, again, we can work with each selected artist to work through a budget to make sure that what you're proposing at that point for the project is actually realistic for the amount of money, and factoring in things like making sure that everybody is paid, and how's that work, right? And so like those are things that we can work through with each artist and each artist team to make sure that we don't want you to, because that can happen too, right? It's like, oh, I'm gonna do this giant thing, and then it's like, well, wait a second, let's walk a few steps back and make sure that it's not like you're proposing like $1 million project, right? And so it's we'll work with you to make sure that everything is right sized in that way.
Excellent. Yeah, we're in between program managers right now, so it'll be helpful to have some guidance on that
Yeah.
for sure. I have no experience or anything like that, so cool. Thank you.
And if you have never worked in public space before, this I think is a great opportunity too for somebody to do something that they've never done before, which I think is really great. And that's one of my favorite things to do, is to work with artists who have not worked in public space before, because it's just such a it's an interesting shift to make from creating work maybe in a gallery, a studio, or in a theater even, and then when you take it into a more public place, a public platform, it really changes the dynamic of the work that you do, and it's really, really exciting and fun. So I think it's great opportunity for anybody who wants to try something different. Okay. If there's no other questions, I think we're set for everybody can go enjoy this very hot hot night. I'm like, you can't see this maybe, but I'm really sweating.
It makes me sweaty anyway, but especially now.
Yeah, just sweat. It's just so sweaty.
Comes in waves, and then there's a breeze, and then it stops.
Yeah.
The breeze has like not been present, I feel like, for days though. I'm like, where's that ocean breeze?
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Everybody else as well.
I look forward to seeing all of your applications come through. And if you need any help, please reach out. You can reach out through that scheduling, or you can just contact me directly. My email address is also in the application, but I'll put it here too. So don't hesitate to ask questions.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you so much. Good
thanks,
night.
everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.